Wet weather and a lagging economy have caused a trying summer so far for UK retailers. They're hoping for a gold rush from the influx of people in London for the Olympics, but just how much of a boost really will the Games provide? Joining us on set now is Stacey Widlitz, president of SW Retail Advisors and a CNBC contributor. And Stacey, this morning, it's very interesting. At first, it was hard right away to get a sense of just how crazy and crowded London was for the Games. But as we moved through the first couple days of the event, what are most people saying? It's kind of quiet. It's kind of empty around here.
Right. Well, London has emptied out. The locals are getting out of town because they've been afraid of the transportation and the traffic. But if you go out, certainly to the Westfield Mall there, you're seeing the tourists in town. You're seeing them spend. But the question is this a short-term boost, especially for the luxury sector? You're seeing almost 30% of sales in luxury in London go to the Chinese tourists. So the question is that sustainable?
Would you say for the most part so forgetting kind of central London or the city of London for a moment and just the hoped for number of people going through that Westfield shopping mall, is that at least up to expectations?
I think so. I think the mall so far is crowded. And again, it's pretty early. But the good news for Westfield in that mall is that 75% of ticket holders have to pass through that mall in order to get to the Olympic Park.
It's like duty free before you get on a plane. Heathrow, Terminal 5 is now a shopping centre,
right,
at the end of which you happen to get on a plane. And now you have a shopping centre at the end of which happens to be an Olympics.
Exactly. So they're hoping that once you get through security and you see your Olympic event, that you're going to be relaxed, come back through. There's a casino, you can get a massage, there's a champagne bar, and there's all sorts of new retailers coming in. I
was so upset. I just got to share this. I was so upset. On the opening ceremony, there's a champagne seafood bar on the Olympic site, right near the stadium. It was the only one that was shut. Opening ceremony night.
I was there the other day. It was good.
Why would it be shut for the opening ceremony?
Because I figured that was the night they would have made more money anyway. Stacey, just talking more broadly about the luxury sector, we've heard from the concerns now, and we're focusing on some companies like Burberry, that maybe the slowdown in China is going to impact them more than we thought it was. What's the view on that?
Right. So most of the luxury retailers, whether it's Burberry or Coach or LV, they're talking about a slowdown in mainland China. The question is, what's next? Does that tourism that comes to Europe that makes up such a huge percentage here, does that slow down? Do the tourists also slow? It would make sense that if mainland is slowing, eventually tourism will slow. You've also seen some of the tourism to Hong Kong even slow down. So the question is, does that hit Europe next? And is it really a double whammy for the European luxury players?
And finally, when we look ahead, even kind of back here in London is a barometer of spending. Are you seeing the strength holding up? Is it still the foreign buyer who's there and who's spending, who's opening the wallet, or even there, has there been any sign of softness?
I think it's very much still the foreign spender that's coming in, the Chinese tourist, a lot of Russian spending coming in. Yesterday I was in the Prada store at the Westfield Mall. Someone came in and wanted the Croc high-end, one-only limited edition bag.
All right, you got
me.
You
see that. So sorry, it's taken.
Yeah.
I know you wanted it, but
that is remarkable that it's still, people are still going to shell out for some of those high-end items.
They will, and that's still what you're seeing. But again, the question is, if it's slowing down mainland, is the next shoe to drop? The tourism in Europe.
Do you get the Middle East crowd in August in London, because they escape all the heat in the Middle East, so they come and hold things up a lot as well. Stacey, good to see you. Thanks so much, Dee, for joining us. Stacey Widlitz, president of Retail Advisors Inc. and a CNBC contributor.